ENAUTO Section 12 Summary Challenge. Cisco SD-WAN Automation with Ansible. What is the Ansible role that is all created by Cisco that contains specific modules for managing Cisco SD-WAN? So specific modules. This is called Ansible VIPTela. Yeah, and that's it. Which statement about Ansible is true? Ansible is idempotent. Ansible can be idempotent. It depends on the modules, right? So Ansible itself is not idempotent, but modules of Ansible can be made idempotent, or rather, like they are tried to be made idempotent. Ansible modules are meant to be idempotent. That's exactly what it is, right? So it actually depends on the modules. Ansible is not idempotent. Ansible cannot be used to create directories. In the lab, we just used Ansible to create a directory. And by the way, this module, which created a directory, it is indeed idempotent. It checks whether the directory is there, and if it's not there, it just creates it. But if it's there, it doesn't create another directory or writes this existing directory, right? So that's what idempotency means, for example. In which two ways can you create a variable or fact within Ansible? First one is register. You use register and then specify the name of a variable. Next two, so within one task with a module which provides output. So then the output from this module will be saved in this variable specified here. Another one is set fact. It's kind of similar, right? But it doesn't take in the input from a module. It takes in input more explicitly, right? So from maybe another variable, or maybe from some expression which is maybe based on some variables which were previously defined. Debug is a module which provides output, and save and restore, I haven't seen those. Which command utility will help you learn how to use the URI module? Command utility which will help you learn how to use the URI module. So URI module is basically a module which enables us to make HTTP requests. So, and now I'm wondering which utility will help us to learn it. Maybe it's Ansible doc, right? I have not used it in the lab. I'm not sure if it's even mentioned in the scenario of the lab. So Ansible config, I haven't seen this, but as the name suggests, probably this is some kind of configuration. Ansible, like that, lets us to run tasks, right? So task is a smaller workload or smaller part of a workload. Ansible Playbook is a tool which runs whole playbooks, which consists of multiple tasks in sequence. Yeah, and then I guess, I haven't never used it, but I guess learning is documentation, so Ansible doc should be the answer. Which task attribute saves the JSON response from a module? All right, so saves the JSON response from a module. Register. Okay, so it doesn't say about saving into a file or anything like that. It's just kind of capture it somewhere, and register captures or saves output or response in a variable, right? In which two circumstances might you need to use the file module? Okay, to ensure that the directory exists, yes, this is correct, and we actually have used this in the lab. File module is used to ensure that directory exists, it creates a file, and directory is a file with an attribute, right? To copy a file to a network device, probably not. To ensure that the directory does not exist, not sure if you can do this with the file. To template a configuration file, Not sure. What does it mean, template a configuration file? How can you use file to template? What does it mean even? Okay. Okay, so this, I'm not sure about the other option. I will have to look into that. Well, this option here, to ensure that the directory doesn't exist. So this module file, it has, I have seen two attributes. One is path, another one is state. And in our example, state was a directory. So this specific path or file name must exist and it must be directory. So that's kind of the desired state definition, at least one we have seen in the lab. Is there a possible state like does not exist? Maybe, I guess so. But also then this should have been correct as well, right? If you can ensure that a directory doesn't exist, then you should be able to ensure that a config file doesn't exist. So because these two must go together, that's probably not the correct assumption. And I guess file module cannot check if file does not exist. So it's either copy a file to a network device, I'm not really sure about this. Maybe it is template a configuration file. Not sure what they actually mean here, but that's probably the answer. Okay. Where should you go for more information on Cisco community-based Ansible integrations for Cisco SD-WAN? Okay, DevNet Express, Ansible Zone, Cisco SD-WAN API docs, DevNet Code Exchange. All right. More information on Cisco community-based Ansible integrations for Cisco SD-WAN. That's okay. Where is this? It is in GitHub, right? There is a repository in GitHub for Cisco SD-WAN, which includes, I think, 3 components: CLI tool for Cisco SD-WAN, Python SDK for Cisco SD-WAN, and Ansible modules for Cisco SD-WAN. So, okay. Yeah, I guess that's it, right? And from this GitHub, there is a documentation page. I think it's on Read the Docs. It's available there, so that's probably what is meant here. Cisco SD-WAN API, because that's API. That should be the correct answer. DevNet Express, Ansible. Ansible Zone, I don't think that actually exists. DevNet Code Exchange is, I actually have one project there published. It's basically a repository, sort of like a catalog. It's a catalog of all kinds of integrations or code or solutions, samples, which has to do anything with Cisco. So that's probably the correct option here. All right, 2 questions are wrong. I will have to look into that. All right, I have checked the errors, and in the next attempt, actually questions were in different order. But this one, in which 2 circumstances might you need to use the file module? I don't like this, but the correct answer is to ensure that a directory exists. Another one, to ensure that the directory does not exist. Makes sense, right? As I have assumed. It also can check that a directory or file doesn't exist, but then why this is not correct? to ensure that the configuration file does not exist, or any kind of file. So I checked the documentation for this module. This is file module, Ansible built-in file module. This is the full name of it. You can set attributes of files, directories, or symlinks and their targets. Alternatively, and it's important, remove files, symlinks, or directories. You can remove stuff with it. Okay. And you can do this with files and with directories. So why is this not correct? I do not agree. Okay. But then another question which I got wrong is, of course, it was the one with where on the Cisco website something is located, or yeah. So the correct answer here for the information on Cisco community-based Ansible integrations is DevNet Code Exchange, indeed, right? Basically, DevNet Code Exchange, as I said, it's a catalog which has different examples, projects, sample code, and what actually items in this catalog do, they basically point to GitHub repositories. All right. So, and apparently over there, we can find stuff like, and this is the code exchange, right? We can find stuff like SD-WAN Ansible code. And this probably is an example of what they say, community-based Ansible integrations. Oh yeah, actually, it is. It makes way more sense when I read it more carefully. So it's community-based Ansible integrations that people are using Ansible to integrate their stuff that's their projects. And if they want, they can have this code, these Ansible playbooks, published in public access on GitHub as a public repository, and then optionally maybe have them listed in the Cisco Code Exchange. And this is just one random example I found of something posted, and we can see here there is a button here, view code on GitHub, and actually it is basically a small front page for a GitHub repo. Okay, and it just grabs everything here from the README file and just shows here, and that's exactly what it does. But it's a good catalog, just one place where stuff is concentrated. All right, so that definitely this question makes a lot of sense. That's it.